everyone. My next guest is a man that's no stranger to diversity. He has multiple careers over the last 25 years as an electronic technician, real estate broker, an accountant, defense consultant, and a finance editor for the National Black Unity News, and a host of the Financial Hour. Please let me welcome Mr. Wayne Randall. Welcome, Wayne.
Hey, how are you doing, Danetta? It's a pleasure.
I'm doing great, and you?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure being on your showcase.
Yes, it is. It is a switch because I was on yours, and that's what we do at the National Black Unity News as editors, that we support one another. So thank you for coming on.
That? I'm glad you said that because we want the viewing people to know that we believe in working in a collective effort.
Yes. Yes.
It's not just about one of us, it's about the whole environment in the community. And if other people see this, whatever facet or whatever field they're working in should say, us as our people, we should be doing more of this.
Right, yes, I agree.
So it's a pleasure being on your show, Danetta, and I can sit here while you ask me stuff.
Okay, so you ready? All right, so the first question. What type of financial services do you offer?
Well, I offer, it's a multiple choice of them. One, any type of business consulting work where they may be just trying to make a decision about a business. Some real estate, if they want some type of consultation as to should they buy, should they sell, how much should they put into it, is this a rehab, is it good for me? Should I get an inspection? Should I have a broker? Should I have an agent? And generally what I do is I start out with one thing before we get to any of that. Speaking of real estate at the moment, because I worked as a real estate broker in New York for 3 years, and I was a sales agent for 4. Once we already know they have a job, it really gets down to how much money will the bank leverage to them based on, their whole portfolio or their credit, and then how much money they're going to put down. Whatever happens, you don't want to be in a situation where you're in a strap. So we basically go from that, and what I do too in my business is I deal with what I call money management. I talk to people about how do you manage your cash flow from month to month. Let's say from paycheck to paycheck, from quarter to quarter. You need to find out, it's a significant term, it's called debt to income ratio. How much money are you putting out and how much money is left after your bills are paid, your mortgage or your rent, your Wi-Fi, your car insurance or your car note. If $300 is left after you finish paying all of these things and it's the first of the month, okay, maybe you might not want to go with a percentage. Maybe you might want to go with a flat number and say, okay, I'm going to save $100 every time I get paid. Okay? But the first of the month, you might be working with less because it's the first of the month. Now, that second pay period, you may have an extra couple hundred, now making it 5. So there you realistically can see, because the burden of the first of the month is out of the way, you can save a little bit more. Now, that number is not really determined by me. What I do is help them figure out what that debt to income ratio is from week to week, month to month. And then we go from there. Do you want it to be a percentage of your money or a flat number?
Well, thank you for that. Well, that's really interesting because I really never heard of it for the flat amount. I always heard it of percentage.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to find that out, to do the flat rate, and then it's flexible where it might be more one pay and less the next. So,
well, now you mentioned it that way. Now, if you're speaking in terms of, investing in the company and, taking advantage of your profit sharing in the company with an IRA or 401k, generally you want to start out with a lower figure. Okay, I would say it would be good to start out at about 5%.
Okay.
5% of your gross income. So when this money comes out, it's tax deferred. In other words, it just means it's not taxed yet until maturity or the time you're ready to take it out.
Right.
And you go into the next year and you get a increase or a salary or a raise, or you're in a different job. Now you can bump that up to 7%. If it's even better, you can bump it up to 8%. But if there's no change in your situation, if you were talking to me, I would say leave it at 5%. And understand, when you're dealing with 401ks or anything to do with the market, there's always what they call a fluctuation.
Right.
So you could call the guy or the woman and they say, well, you lost some money. That's because of the shift in the markets. Because these 401ks and these IRAs are invested in several different types of companies.
Right.
That has a lot to do with what you decide what you want to, invest in. But that's some of what I do with the retirements, cash management, and real estate, and business consulting as far as what a person should do if they want to buy a business or buying someone out, things of that nature. I can steer them definitely in the right direction.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay, then the next question. What are the benefits of having a financial expert in the community?
Well, I would say, based on my experience, from what I know and what I've been dealing with in those three categories, it would help because, one, a lot of the things that I'm already telling them, I use it in my own life. Okay. Now, sure, I have a degree in accounting, it's business administration and accounting, and I am a defense contractor, and I work over in D.C., and I'm dealing with money in a different type of situation. That's a different situation there. But when it comes down to individuals, a lot of what I'm trying to apply on them is the same principles and concepts I'm using myself. Go back to cash management. I get paid. Generally, the first of the month is that week or that pay period where I save a little less. I generally myself like to deal with a flat rate. I like dealing with flat numbers. That's me. And that's what I do. And I'm invested into the company, so I have a certain percentage coming out of my gross. Remember what I said, public, your gross income. So this money is not taxed. And a lot of people say, why would I want to do it? Because, one, you're getting free money just by participating in it, okay, until maturity. Let's say maturity is 10 years or 20 years, or let's just say you need $5,000 next month or next week. When you call them, they're going to tell you it's a penalty to take it out. So now it's reached maturity.
Right.
Now you only need 5,000, but you may have a lot more in there. So they'll tell you you're going to have to pay the IRS a 10% fee because it was a breach in the agreement. So you weren't supposed to touch it until it reached maturity. But that's the retirement part of dealing with 401ks and IRAs. They would like the money to be locked in because they're using your money too.
Right. That's true. Okay, now the next question. What do you find the most challenging in saving money?
What was that question again?
Okay, sure. What do you find the most challenging in saving money?
What's the most challenging thing about saving money? Saving money?
Yes.
Oh, I could say just probably how sometimes in life you can be blindsided. Now you can have all these concepts and all these principles and all these things laid out as to what you want to do. Something could happen to your car. The refrigerator goes up. The roof needs fixing. So now these are going to be factors that are going to come in that's going to derail your plan. Now, obviously, what I would say, what you probably need to do is, okay, let that pay period go by where you don't really deal with that. Unless you're going to, let's say in this case, it's the refrigerator or something wrong with the car. You charge that bill. Now, if it's a, let's just say, let me give you a round figure. Let's say the bill is 500. Let's say it's $700.
Mm-hmm.
You say to the mechanic, well, I want to pay half cash and charge the other half. That's what I would do, because you definitely don't want to get on that slippery slope with credit cards. I wrote about that in my article last year called "Tis the Season." And when people go into the holiday season, they walk around with that plastic, flashing it like it's a bank card. But it's got to be paid later.
Right, right.
So that's what I would say if a big ticket item, something comes up, okay, this pay period, we're not going to be able to save like we want, but put half on the card and then pay half cash. And sure, they'll take it.
Right.
And that way, you're not really derailed too bad. That can be challenging because these things always come up.
Right, true, true. Well, thank you, thank you. Now, what suggestions can you give about financial services and where to start?
Well, if you've never really tried to, let's say, manage your money, one thing you want to know for sure, and most people want this to happen. Most people want to realize this. From one pay period to the next, they want to realize that there's still money in their account from one pay period to the next. If there's money in that pay period from one pay period to the next, that means you're doing something right. Now, when the weekends come, you have to sometimes curtail your spending. I would say when you're doing your spending, keep those receipts, because if you're using your bank card, okay, you can still keep a tally on what you're spending. But weekend spending, things can go by. You can look at them. Ooh, I spent $400, $500, and that's what happened. I hope I'm in line with that question that you asked.
Yes.
And yeah, that can be that can do that. That can happen to you.
Okay. Now, the last question: how does getting quality sleep affect your performance as a financial consultant?
Well, this is paramount. Just getting quality sleep will just help your whole life period from day to day, everything that you have to do. And as I spoke about it with you before, how can you even function without even having a clear mind? That's one thing right there. I mean, you can't even talk to people about figures or concepts. A lot of this stuff is about concepts. But if you don't have a clear mind and you're not rested, you can't really go and engage into somebody about what's going on, because these money matters are stressful to people. These things are stressful. It's nothing but a tool, but it's a very essential part of the person's life. It's just like breathing. You can't make it without air, and you can't make it without having any money. So it can be very stressful, especially if you're not managing it right. People talk about, oh, I'm making this, it's not how much money you're making, it's how you're managing it and how you're saving it. And you have to watch what you're doing with it. And as I would say to people, whatever you do, there's nothing wrong with having a credit card. If you have one, that's fine. If you have more than one, two, or three, you don't need all of those. I would say you have one card, put that card away and lock it up. Say a couple weeks ago you needed to get tires, or you needed to get brakes, or your refrigerator went down. You pay, okay, so you didn't split it, but you put the whole bill on the credit card. What I would say to do is now take that credit card, lock it up in your safe, or if you don't have a safe, put it in your box, put it somewhere. But don't put it on your person, because the temptation is too great. It's too great. You walk in the store, that jacket looks nice. And it's speaking to you. You put it on, 99% of ownership is when you're holding something in your hand. And a person walks out with the jacket. And they went, oh, I'd already spent $700 and some last week on those wheels or those brakes. And now you just spent another $100 and some odd on this jacket that you wanted. It wasn't a need. It was something you wanted. But if you went back to my principle, I said, put the card up, and you like to put it away until it's about paid off, or if you bring it down some. So these are just principles and concepts to try to apply to your life, just like you said, with the sleeping.
Right, yeah.
Try to stay away from the sugar at night. Try to stay away from the alcohol, because it's going to keep you up. And stop playing with the phone.
Right.
You have to put the phone down.
Yes.
You have to cut myself, as I said when we were talking a while back, when we were doing another interview, I cut it off. It's essential for me to get the rest that I need, because I'm up at the crack of dawn, and I'm on my way over to D.C. So when I get over there, nobody wants to hear about what sleep you didn't get. All they're interested is in what it is you come here to do.
Right.
At the meeting, you need to be alert, or you're writing this paper, or we need you to do. Nobody is, because it's all about managing your life.
Right.
From sleep to finances, then with the kids, walking the dog, it's all time management and how you do it. And everybody does it differently, but we're people. You do what you do, I do what I do, but it's all gets down to managing it.
Yeah.
Managing the time or the resources you have.
That's true. That's true.
And nobody can police you to do that.
Right, that's true.
Yeah. You know, people, you have your own free will, or people say, I'm grown. Well, you know, you can be grown and you can be broke, or you can be grown and you can have insomnia problems and can't sleep and all of these kind of issues. And you have to go seek help. You know, people can come to me and I'll go over these principles and talk to them about the things they can apply to their life. But if they don't apply them, what happens? You know, you don't want to be broke from one pay to the next.
Right.
But if because you want to be running what they call a trial balance from one pay period to another, even if it's nothing but a few $100s there. Because that few $100s is going to go a little further helping you go into that next pay period.
Right. That's true. That's true. Now, I would love to ask you, what is the best way for people to reach you?
Oh, well, one, they can call me at 443-726-6693, or they can email me at w@ all one word, yourfinance-info.com.
Okay.
w@ yourfinance-info.com.
Okay, great.
And they email me or they call me, leave a message. I'll be sure to get back to them, and I'll be glad to take their call, because I pride myself to try to get people on the right track, and they go, well, you know, that's really working.
Right.
Only if you apply it.
Right, that's true.
Will it work?
That's true. You know? That's true. Well, Wayne, thank you so much for your time and your patience. And yeah.
It's more than a pleasure. It's more than a pleasure coming on your show.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I wish you much success. And, you know, as we know how it works, these things, it's a collective thing. And this is good for the paper, too, the National Black Unity News people. You hear that?
Yes.
That's who's behind this. That's the people to do the production.
Yes. That is true. That is true. That's true. Okay, well, thank you so much. And then I would like to bring you back on later on at another time.
Oh, yeah. You let me know, and I'll be glad to meet you at the studio again.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
It's a pleasure, Danetta. Have a good evening.
All right,
okay.
Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. I wanted to begin on why I decided to start a free sleep podcast. The reason why that I decided to is because as an entrepreneur for many, many years, it is in my DNA that I want to give back. I know how it is to struggle and try to get your name out there. So this is my way of giving back and paying it forward by doing free interviews where you can have exposure for your business. So I will begin. Now, I am searching to interview entrepreneurs on my free podcast show. The best way to do that is to send me an email. And my email address is donettadmorin@gmail.com, which is DONATA.D.MOORING@gmail.com. In the subject line, I would appreciate it if you can put Sleep Podcast. And I would send you a link to my calendar where we can either schedule a 15-minute pre-interview or a 30-minute interview. So I wanted to let you know what I have to offer. I educate tired entrepreneurs and individuals how to become mindful, gain energy, and become more productive to get the quality sleep needed to grow your business. I am Donetta D. Mooring, certified sleep science coach, certified holistic life coach, certified wellness coach. I am an author and I am a national editor for the National Black Unity News. The best way to reach me is through my website, which is donettadmooring.com. Now, I also created the Simple Sleep Solution program that teaches you how to relax, eliminate, and detox to begin to heal from the inside out. Ask me about my affiliate program where you can make money while you sleep. Thank you.